In the earliest days of the church, a new kind of family was being born. After Jesus ascended into heaven, his followers created a community unlike any other. They were bound by love, unity, and truth. They shared everything, their food, their homes, and even their land. No one was left in need. It was a beautiful picture of what faith in action looks like. Among this growing family were a husband and wife, Ananias and Sapphira. They watched as others sold their property and laid all the money at the apostles' feet, receiving praise for their incredible generosity and faith. And deep in Ananias's heart, a dangerous seed of pride began to sprout. He wanted that same admiration, that same respect. One morning, he turned to his wife. "Sapphira," he proposed, "let's sell our land too. We'll give a portion of the money to the apostles, but we'll tell them it's the full amount. They'll praise us for giving everything, just like the others." Sapphira hesitated. A shadow of doubt crossed her face. "But Ananias, isn't that lying? Not just to them, but to God?" He just smirked, waving her concern away. "Who's going to know? We worked hard for that land. We deserve to keep some of it. What's the harm?" And with that simple, deceptive question, they sealed their pact, a decision that would change everything. They sold their land. Late that night, the clinking of silver coins filled their home as they counted the money. The sound was sharp, metallic, almost haunting in the quiet room. They carefully set aside a portion for themselves, hiding it away from sight. The next morning, Ananias walked into the gathering of believers. His hands trembled just slightly as he clutched a leather pouch heavy with coins. Peter, John, and the other apostles were there, teaching and praying. With a show of great piety, Ananias knelt and placed the pouch at Peter's feet. "Brother Peter," he announced for all to hear, "this is the full price of our land. We give it all to God." The room fell silent. Peter's gaze was sharp and his eyes narrowed. He spoke, his voice soft but carrying a weight that felt divine. "Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit? The land was yours to keep. After you sold it, the money was yours to do with as you pleased. You didn't have to give anything, but you chose to deceive, not men, but God himself." Ananias froze. The color drained from his face, his chest tightened, and a sudden cold dread gripped him. Before he could utter a single word, he collapsed, falling to the ground. Dead. Shock and fear rippled through the room. The young men present, trembling, wrapped his body and carried him out to be buried. About 3 hours later, Sapphira arrived, completely unaware of what had just happened to her husband. She smiled as she approached Peter, her eyes scanning the room, likely looking for Ananias to share in their moment of praise. Peter looked at her, his expression filled with sorrow. "Tell me, Sapphira," he asked, "did you and your husband sell the land for this amount?" He motioned to the money Ananias had brought. Confidently, she replied, "Yes, that was the price." A deep, painful sigh escaped Peter. "How could you conspire together to test the Spirit of the Lord? Listen, the feet of the men who just buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out as well." Before anyone could even react, her knees buckled. She collapsed to the floor and died instantly, just as her husband had. The same young men returned, shocked to find her lifeless body. They gently lifted her and buried her beside her husband. A great fear fell upon the entire church and on everyone who heard about what had happened. It wasn't just a fear of death. It was a profound, holy awe. A deep realization that God sees everything. He sees the secrets we keep, the intentions we hide, and the motives behind our actions. We often think of sin as the act itself, but this story shows us that God sees the intention long before it becomes an action. Ananias and Sapphira didn't just lie to Peter. They lied to the Holy Spirit who dwells in truth. Their story echoes through history with a powerful message. God desires honesty more than sacrifice. He isn't impressed by the size of our gift, but by the sincerity of the heart that gives it. You might be able to deceive people with your words, but you can never deceive God with your motives. The moral is timeless. Don't offer what isn't sincere. Don't perform holiness for human praise. When you give, give with truth. When you speak, let your words be a true reflection of your heart. Because sometimes, a single lie can cost you everything. Thanks so much for watching. If this story spoke to you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more content that explores the deeper truths of faith. See you next time.